Now, the first people to settle on the European continent, they must have had a really tough time. Everywhere they looked, there was snow. Temperatures were permanently sub-zero. They had to instantly find clothing, shelter, and food in that order. They had to run faster than the animals they hunted, otherwise they would starve. They had to quickly figure out solutions to life and death problems, otherwise they, their families, and of course their tribes would die. If they picked the wrong spot to settle, they would have no water. If they failed to make fire, they would freeze to death. If their prey outsmarted them or outran them, they wouldn't eat. They had to excel every single day or they would die. Excel or die, no middle ground. You can imagine how this would have instilled in them a sense of self-reliance. They would have realized from the very first day that it was up to them how their day would turn out, how their week, their month, their year, their life would be. It was up to them. There was no time to make excuses if they wanted their children to eat. As they evolved, they would have passed on this attitude from generation to generation until it became encoded in their DNA. Yes, religion would come along and they would believe in higher powers and all of that, but this fundamental belief that every outcome was basically up to them, that would never be removed from their genetic coding. And the evidence of this can be seen all around us in today's European and Western society. All the other societies they have spawned are the same. They have a problem, someone invents a solution. Something goes wrong, they blame themselves, they learn from it, and they make sure it never happens again. Something goes right, they turn it into policy, and they teach everyone how to replicate it and enjoy that success. That genetic coding of excellence has led to a society that thrives and a system that works. Now, the first people to have settled on the African continent must have had the easiest life you could possibly imagine. They were surrounded by an abundance of resources. Everything a person could possibly need was right there at their fingertips. Trees every 5 meters in the thick, rich jungle to provide shelter, fresh springs, rivers, and brooks to provide water. You probably couldn't walk 5 feet without treading over a fat, juicy rabbit to provide you with your family with a delicious dinner. As for clothing, well, it was so hot that they would have just walked around buck naked feeling like kings of the jungle. So in the midst of such abundance, you can imagine just how difficult it would be for a lazy person to justify their hunger and poverty. When they pop over to their neighbor's cave to beg for some leftover antelope stew, they would have to be very, very prepared with the best excuse in the world. The gods didn't favor me today. Oh, my traps are empty. Can I have some of your stew? Or, the gods have cursed me. Oh, I'm sick, beer. My face, so no hunting today. Can I have some of your stew? Or, I actually started rearing some nice guinea fowl behind the cave, but the gods didn't smile at me and they flew away to Burkina Faso. So can I have some of your stew? Soon, everyone would be in on the excuses game. Farmers who couldn't be bothered to work hard in the beautiful sunshine would blame the gods for cursing the land. Mothers who couldn't be bothered chasing their kids around and ensuring their safety would blame the gods for giving her retarded children. Leaders who had no clue how to improve the lives of their subjects would blame the gods for cursing the tribe. Soon the African would become experts at blaming someone else for their status in life. This skill would be passed on from generation to generation. And then the Europeans came to our continent. They saw our resources and wanted them, but of course, we stood in the way. So they assessed the problem, observed our behavior, and came up with a solution. They gave us a gift, religion. To the African, that presented a buffet of the best possible excuses we could have imagined. So little by little, we evolved into a race that believes that whether or not we prosper is entirely down to supernatural forces. That way, you see, we grow more and more comfortable in our failures. After all, it's not our fault. My dear friends, this is my own theory of how civilization evolved. Now, I may be right or I may be wrong, but either way, the difference between the African mindset and that of other societies is evident in our daily deeds and actions. When things go wrong, we always have something or someone to blame. The weather, cocoa prices, sabotage, our predecessors, or the witches in our village. Everything is someone else's fault, which means we don't have to lift a finger to try and solve it. Look, we have to think differently and act differently if we are going to have any hope of curing this deadly DNA defect and leaving something other than debt for future generations. My name is Kojo Yankson, and it doesn't matter what my ancestors handed down to me. All that matters is what I hand down to my descendants. Good morning, Ghana.
And we're also handing down to you the latest highlights from the front and back pages of the newspapers. Look, it promises to be an exciting show this morning. We just have so many related issues that are dominating your discussion platforms on our plate. Stay with us. We'll be right back with all these.